Hello boys and girls, I'm hauling another Caterpillar 950M mid-size wheel loader. Got loaded today in Illinois. This is a ramp from I-57 to Highway 6. If you can see my TomTom GPS over there, I have to take this because if I go on I-80 like I was going, I would have to pay toll. And my next stop is what's my next stop is Sawyer, Michigan. But we're gonna stop recording when I'm about to enter I-94. So like there's nowhere to connect this thing, you know. I got my mic, I got this long cord, and I don't know what to do with this because it's really stupid. The design of this, it's very small. Like, where do you put it? I cannot put it on my steering wheel. Maybe I'll just put it like this. Okay, is it on? Yeah, it's on. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Where shall I? No, I cannot put it in there. That's not. See, this is not good. Okay, I'll just put it in there for now. It shouldn't be in the way of my changing gears. And too bad I'm out of coffee. Okay, seat belt, gloves. I got my permits. I checked my load, my chains. I guess we are good to go. And some people are always asking to show how I shift so that they can criticize. So if you guys want to criticize my shifting, you gotta stop the movie and watch another channel, okay? Because nobody's perfect. And yes, I do use the clutch sometimes. Like for example now, the road goes up. I know for 100% if I try to float without using the clutch, it would not go in. So, you know, why force it? When you have the clutch, like what's the... You have to move your, you know, your foot 2 inches. What's the big deal? I never understand this dilemma of floating or clutching. Like you're supposed to be a super driver if you can float. Well, look at that. Jesus. The guy almost got hit by that silver car. See, like when I'm going from low to high, of course I don't need the clutch, right? You just release the throttle, or some four-wheelers call it gas, but we cannot call it gas because it's a diesel engine, right? And the road's pretty bad here, so I'm not gonna rush. Like, it's only 1 o'clock. This is the first time I left the shipper so early because I slept over there. I was at the red light. See, that's another reason to take it slow here. There's red light cameras everywhere, and it's gonna turn yellow now. Yeah. And how I could tell, I was watching the pedestrian crossing signal over there, and I saw the number 2, and it was counting down, which of course means that as soon as it hits 1, then the next light will be amber or yellow. So and I'm 75 feet long, so you know, if you can go through amber when it's just starting in a car, then it's okay. But when you're, you know, 75 feet long in a big truck, I'm gonna be blocking intersection for half an hour, right? Because it takes me much longer to cross this. So it's better to stop, you know, like I said, what's the rush? So I'm going back to Aurelia. So yeah, okay, thank you, sir. Aurelia, Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, low, 5 high, 6 low, and I'm not pushing my foot in the floor, of course. I'm trying to save money. I just hardly press it. This is 6 high. No, this is 7 low. You see, I didn't use my clutch because I know it would go in. You know, I got a sixth sense. Now what's with this guy? Speed limit is 45, sir. And in case someone else will say, oh Jesus, you're flying. My speed right now is 34 miles per hour. It's just that, you know, you're sitting on a sofa that maybe has shaky legs. So it might seem to you that, you know, all the vibration created by the sofa, so you think, hey, this guy is flying, you know. 38, 39. Jake brake. 39 miles per hour. I am flying in a 45 mile speed zone. But something's definitely wrong with that guy. There's like 2 Mexicans, and the passenger was playing with his cell phone. Look, he's straddling the lane, he goes left and right. I really hate driving next to people that drive like that. So the driver is either using his smartphone or he's eating his burrito. That's the only thing I came up with. Oh, another interesting thing happened, which that jingle reminded me. I hit the key. I lost my keys again. Jeez. I mean, not these ones, but I have 2 sets, right? I have 1 key that's just the key for the engine over here, and then I had a bunch with like another Mack key and a bunch of smaller keys, like one from those side doors, the compartments, and 1 key to my mailbox, 1 key to the entrance door to the mailbox to the post office, and 1 small key that locks the you know, when I disconnect from the trailer, I use a red lock that goes on the glad hand. And this is the city of Harvey, Mayor Eric Kellogg. Hello, Mr. Kellogg, how are you doing? SERGEI DRATCHEV here, Heavy Haul TV passing through. Enjoying a little town. And so, that thing, that bundle, it was on a little, you know, what do you call them? I know in Russian it's called karabin, like that you can snatch it to your belt, and I lost it. And I searched everywhere. The seat where I usually put it, the bed, because the last thing I remember I was printing out the permits So I went to the Starbucks over there, you know. Oh, and I mentioned this, I lost my phone. I mean, not lost, but I forgot my phone, my US SIM card. So I have the phone, but I cannot use it, right? So because of that, I cannot have internet. Okay, let's see. Are we supposed to drive 20 here? What's the time? 1:13. School days when children are present. Okay. I don't see any children. Do you? And so there's a Starbucks over there, right next to the Caterpillar plant. And I stopped there, logged on to the free Wi-Fi, and downloaded my permits, and then I came into the truck and hooked up my printer.
Go straight ahead, US 6, eastbound, East 159th Street.
Are you certain? Are you sure about these directions, Miss Tom Tom? Oh, and last time I drove here, that's a scary tunnel there. You see there's no shoulder on the right, and I think I had a bigger load. No, the same one. This is just like 9.6, you know, 9 feet 6 inches. It's barely, only the tires. Actually, the machine itself is legal dimensions, but the tires, because of the bulge at the bottom, it's just like maybe this much. I don't know, 3 inches on each side. So 8.6 plus 6. What is that? 9, right? I'm like 9 feet. But the good news is that about the keys is that I still have the key, and I found the spare for the compartments. So now all I need to do is go to my post office and probably pay 10 bucks for the spare key to my mailbox on the entrance. So I can still drive the truck, right? I can still check my mailbox. What? Let's check the distance to this concrete wall. It's all good. Beautiful day. Plus 19 Celsius. Raining, but no snow. And that's why it's beautiful. This winter was something. See, the RPM was too low. I shifted too soon. Oh, and the guy from Mack, corporate Mack, marketing department, sent me an email. Says, oh, Sergey, we watched a couple of videos on your channel, and we'd like you to, you know, record an interview, you know, like testimonial for the MackTrucks.com page. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not a good candidate for that. And he was basically asking me about the fuel mileage, what my thoughts are on the fuel mileage. Am I happy? And secondly, the power. How is the power in this 505C Plus MP8, which is allegedly has 1860 torque? And I said, no, I cannot give you a testimonial because one, I do heavy haul, so there's no fuel mileage. I even stopped tracking it. It doesn't matter if it's a Mack, a Freightliner, or a Pete. When you're heavy, you can forget about the fuel mileage. So I said I cannot lie, you know, about this. And I said about the power, I said I still miss sometimes my Caterpillar. And the guy says, oh, but I thought, he sends me a reply. He says, oh, but I thought in one of your videos you said you found the sweet spot somewhere like around 1425 RPM. I said, well, yeah, but it was just a gluck, you know. Then other times it doesn't want to pull, and I said, I can give you one example. And one example I gave him is that when I was in my international with a cat, even even when it was turned down from 2250 torque to 1860 torque. So it was the same torque supposedly as this truck has, but on that truck I had to accelerate to 1300 RPM in most gears except the last one, like 8 or 13. That truck had a 13 speed transmission, right? So I would accelerate to 13 and I upshift, I lose 200 RPM, I end up at 1100, and that truck 1100 was the perfect RPM to start in the next gear. You know what I'm saying? Or are you sleeping? Hey, come on, we're talking about some serious stuff here. So 1100 RPM worked fine for that Caterpillar, even with a heavy load, except that when I was an 8, let's say 7 high, and I needed to go to 8 low, I would accelerate to 1400 RPM, so that I begin 8 low at 1200. And at 1200 RPM, look at this guy. At 1200 RPM, are you okay? You okay there, right? You fine? You doing good? And at 1200 RPM, the truck would pull, I don't know, with 40-ton load, it was pulling, okay? But to cut a long story short, this Mack, even empty, really does not like anything less than 1200 as a starting RPM in the next gear. So I have to shift at 1400 when I'm empty. That's when I'm empty. And if I'm loaded, I have to shift at 1500. So what does that tell you? That tells you that this truck does not have enough torque, because when I'm losing the same 200 RPM, because it's 18-speed transmission, it's the same thing as a 13-speed, like 200 RPM, that's the rule. But you see now 14, 1450, 1500, and I shift and I ended up even less than 1300, and that's okay for this truck. But Cat was perfectly fine with 1200 RPM. So that's why I sent an email to this guy, and that's what I explained to him. I said, even by this little example, I can tell you that this truck does not have 1860 torque. Okay? Unlike what your marketing literature claims. So yeah, because some people will say, oh yeah, but it's a 13-liter engine, what do you expect? Well, that's why I bought it, because they claimed in many of their articles in the media, their marketing guy was saying 1860 torque from a 13-liter engine is exactly the same as 1860 torque from a 15-liter engine or 16-liter. It's 1860. It does not matter what engine you have. And I was thinking, really? Okay, that's cool, because this engine is lighter. It's supposed to be better on fuel economy, right? Because it's smaller, especially when you have a light load or you're empty. So why not buy a 13-liter? If the guy says it's the same 1860 torque, right? I don't care. But like I said, and as soon as you start driving, even empty, pulling this heavy trailer, you realize the difference right away. So guys, don't kid yourself, right? So as everybody knows, there's no, what's that? There's like a saying. There's no, like basically displacement. The displacement rules, you know? So if there's two engines, one has more liters or more cubic inches, it'll pull harder than the... So the bigger displacement engine will pull harder than the small displacement engine. So torque, the same torque, it's all marketing tricks. So my next truck will have 600 horsepower and at least 2,000 pounds of torque. But the truck still pulls, right? You saw me call it big excavator. 80,000 pounds, and I wasn't driving in gear 5 or 6, I was driving in top gear, so it does the job, except that, you know, that, shut up!
East 162nd Street, then take the exit right, Interstate 94, east, towards it, go straight ahead, then take the exit right.
Can you believe this? I can see the sign, the blue sign says 94 east, right? Like this thing, and that sign is 200 meters, less than 600 feet up ahead. This thing gives you 10 minutes worth of directions. That's sometimes, you know, that's why you see sometimes there's a truck or a car and all of a sudden the window opens and the GPS flies out. Because these things can be so irritating. And that's it. We're done with the small roads. From here it's gonna be all interstate driving.